Welcome to the Scientific Investor channel. Today I have some valuable information to share with you guys today. The information which I'll showcase today will show you the increasing strength of XRP and Ripple the company. So that's a strong fundamental scenario. So we'll go through some information which actually showcases what's happening recently and how you should be prepared. Now, yes, some of the news are like perspectives directly from some individuals, but some are directly from reputable organizations. Now, after looking and discussing through the fundamentals, we'll actually go through the technicals of our cryptocurrency. XRP, we'll discuss it through different time frames, and we'll check for the potential patterns forming within the chart. So if you guys like the content I provide on a daily basis, please do support the channel. Hit the subscribe button and like the content I provide. If you guys have any suggestion to improve the quality and value of the content, please let me know in the comment section below. Now we'll get ahead with the contents. This is the first one. There's a tweet from Real XRP Boy. It's showcasing something interesting. Now the highlighted part is like, however, if a big bank is embarking on, now this is from Citi Bank, however, if a big bank is embarking on a major core system transformation, now they are highlighting some like Infosys, Finastra and others. So we in the XRP community are familiar with Finastra, right? The name Finastra. Now just moving on to the next slide, what you can see is, I'll explain this part too, because the guy has highlighted this area, but I personally feel that this is also interesting. If FIs can implement, as financial institutions can implement a simple low-cost Ripple pilot in weeks. So to fully understand the benefits of cost of Ripple, financial institutions can implement a simple low-cost pilot with a private intra-group network with no customer impact. Now what they are talking about, that there's a real-time settlement and exchange capabilities near zero transaction cost. So that's valid, right? It's a gigantic bank and others are using this, and what you have to pay attention to here is financial institutions who are currently engaging and implementing the pilots with Ripple. Top 20 global EU and US banks, consortiums of EU and US banks, multi-billion-dollar hedge funds and quantitative trading firms, top 10 global remittance operator, top 15 global telecom operators. So that's a really huge, if you actually see that as a company which is just within a decade as its age, we can say. Now if we actually move forward, checking a part of the tweets, now this is from Sir Gordon Gekko, and it shows that Bank of America Corporation says leveraged loan stress could ripple through economy. Now this is directly related to the traditional financial institutions. The economy can actually get worse. There could be a recession coming ahead. Now he warned that potential carnage could ensure in the market that his bank has dominated for a decade. Now if you actually look at that, what you need to see is, even as issuance fell 33% on a year, that comes at a time when commentators such as Fitch Rating have flagged more loans of concern and potential for uptake in defaults. So if the loans are going to be defaulted, then there should be some kind of similar events happening to that of 2007, 8 or 2000. Now this is another one from John Wick. Sounds like people are slowly waking up. Now this is retweeting it from Hodl. According to Coinbase, 71% of the trading activity is buying and only 29% is selling for XRP. Now that's about Coinbase, and if you look some other trading platforms like the one I use, or one of the platform I use, say eToro, in which it mostly shows around 100% of people are buying the asset, or at least 99 sometimes, and sometimes mostly 100%. So people are actually buying in like that. But the only doubt which I get is, almost all the time it happens to the opposite, right? When the herd is going to the right side, the smart money push it to the left, right? Now this is an information which I'll cross check afterwards and confirm. For example, this is showcasing that Santander announces the use Ripple's ODL service for 6 new corridors. Now, I don't know how much valid this is, because at the bottom, we all know Leonidas, he's showcasing that no ODL for Santander yet, cool your jets. So there is a bit of difference in opinion there. So we have to research and check what's really happening in the background. Now, this one is from Ian Nothing. One study estimated that more than a quarter of Bitcoin users and roughly half of Bitcoin transactions are associated with illegal activity. Now, if that's true, I'm not sure about that, but if that's true, then the government will come in and push the brakes. They'll start with new regulations. We can't even imagine what governments will be doing if this is actually related to illegal activity. But personally, what I feel is, if that's the case, if they're going to stop everything which is related to illegal, then they should first stop dollar. How many of the say in percentage, if you take in percentage terms, dollar is being used for illegal activity? So Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies just came here within a decade, right? Say 10-12 years. So if you consider that, before that there weren't any illegal activity? I don't think so. So it's just they are highlighting that only cryptocurrencies are used for illegal activity, and they want to crack that down. No. They should actually check their own currency first, the fiat shit, then come into this. Now, there's the next one from Stephen Bull from The Dape. Yes, out of the list, nearly half of the banks are current Ripple partners. So he's actually showing that, as Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse highlighted, that half of the top 20 biggest banks in the world will actively hold and trade digital assets in 2020. So that's the year coming, right? We are almost at the end of 2019. So as you can see, the top 20 banks are listed here. Now in this, he's stating that at least 10 will do this, right? So you can see that Bank of Santander, Deutsche Bank, Citigroup, Bank of America, and others like Mitsubishi UFJ and others who are in the top 20 list is actually working with Ripple, right? So you should be paying attention to that. Now, this is just an opinion from this particular individual. That's Sir Gordon Gekko. Confirmed Fed is buying 1 billion XRP, migrating USD by end of year. Expect announcement from Powell by next month. This will essentially erase all national debt when XRP hits 1,000 in December. I'm not sure about that 1,000 in December, but yeah, he didn't actually state in the year, right? Maybe it's 2020, maybe it's 2025, maybe it's 2030, I don't know. But you should actually see the response at the bottom, like fake, he found this from here, blah blah blah. But anyway, I'm gonna reply him. Just I'll try to research myself if there is something happening in the background, if we can get some insights about that. Now this is from Real XRP Boy, and it's showing that comparing XRP and BTC. Now we all know that XRP is superior to other digital assets, considering its speed, capacity, integration, and on-ledger assets, right? It can do that. Now, I'm just reading through that. I'll tell you another story that underreported but worth paying attention to is Bitcoin is really controlled by China. There are 4 miners in China that control over 50% of Bitcoin. How do we know that China won't intervene? So if you want to make this a payment solution, I don't think other nations will actually get into that payment rail, which is controlled by China. So that's the moral of the story. Stop being a maxi. XRP is decentralized, indestructible, and will be here long after Bitcoin, long after Ripple, and long after you finally figure this all out. So you should be ready, right? When I say you should be ready, that means you should be buying. Now the prices are kind of at the low from last 2.5 years. If you guys want to accumulate, this is kind of a good area to do that. Now that's not a suggestion, this is my personal opinion. I'm doing that because my average was about say 0.4, and when the price is down, I'm trying to make it come down, say at least around 0.2, 0.22. I don't have that much money right now, so I'm buying it on a small scale and every week. Now, this is, as you can see, the cryptocurrencies are in green from last 24 hours and some are in green for last week. So if you actually see that in the XRP chart, say for XRP is actually showing you like a trend downward, right? So we can, if you actually plot the support resistance line, you can see that the price is actually fluctuating in this particular area where it is getting supported previously and now. But what I want to show you guys is, say the price of this particular day closed here and this one went below here, it touched that support line and then bounced back high and came crossing above half of this coin, half of this candle. So I personally think that that's kind of a reversal scenario, but I'm not 100% sure. But if you actually check the reversal patterns, say just Google it and get the images, and you can consider what are the opinions from other market experts, because those are the guys who are putting these patterns outside, right? So if you actually check these, you can understand that, like say a big candle is coming here, so that was a downtrend, it came till here, then another candle just showed to the upside, that's a green candle above the half of that candle, then it went up, retested a bit, then went to the upside. So if that's what we are seeing here, then that should be a case you should be buying. Now when I say that, in a shorter time frame, what you have to think is you will be having a resistance here because it was a previous support, right? But at the same time, what you have to check is when you're seeing the prices moving to the downside in the price candles, at the same time you can see the MACD is actually showing you a divergence. You can see that, right? The MACD is pointing to the upside, and at the same time you can see that the stochastic RSI is going to the upside. Now that's actually a good news if you are considering that in that way. Now we'll actually go through some smaller time frame charts as well. Say we'll directly jump into 12 hour first, after which we'll move into 4 hour and 1 hour for XRP. Then we'll check for BTC, ETH and LTC. Now this is 12 hour for XRP, and you can see that the MACD has crossed to the upside, so that's actually a positive news. But what you have to consider is the moving averages, say the 20, 50 and 200. So if you plot 100 and 150, it will be in this range, so that will be acting as a resistance in this form. But you still have a positive news, and the price has already breached previous low, so it is a possibility that the price can move high. But what you have to consider that is, as we discussed in our previous video, considering the long term, if you look at what happened previous to 2017, there was a similar pattern happening and the price actually retested that area. You guys can actually check out this particular video here and understand what we actually discussed there, and it's actually in detail, so you'll get a clear picture from there. Now when we look at the XRP, say in 4 hour, what we can see is this is a pattern forming here, but most of the time when this happens, the price goes down and retest the bottom. So if I want to show you that on a bigger scale, if you guys look here, you can understand what I'm talking about. Say this was happening here previously, the price was actually moving to the upside, but it broke to the downside. The wedge was kind of consolidating above the zero area. Say if this is a horizontal line, if you set out, and the price was actually making higher lows, but at the end of the day it actually went to the downside. Now we are getting the same pattern here, so we'll have to see whether the price is going to break to the upside or to the downside. But as of now, as you can see, the price is near the top, so that's the resistance area. So if it managed to go above the 50-day moving average and the resistance area, that's a bullish news. But what if you are looking to buy this, what you should be looking is a breakout here, then a retest, or at least breakout, confirmed breakout, not a fake out, right? You should be waiting for a couple of candles. Once it's confirmed, you can get into the wagon. Now if you actually go to hourly chart, you can actually see the amplified scenario which we discussed in the 4-hour chart. And if you look at that, sorry about that. Now if you look at that, you can actually understand this potential candle, if it is closing to the upside, which is going to happen in say a couple of minutes, that's actually a bullish news. Because if I'll say, for me, I'll consider this as a continuation pattern, because if you go to the same and type in continuation patterns, now sorry about the time consumed for just checking this particular item, but what I would like to highlight is actually, like, from last 3 years I've been checking these patterns, and this is a pattern which actually came to my eyes many times. Say you'll get a continuation pattern like this. You can, if you see at the top, you can see this, right? You can see it here. There is an uptick, then a correction, then a candle which moves to the upside, showcasing that the uptrend is valid there. Then it consolidates and moves to the upside again. So if you actually check that again, you can see that the continuation is happening in 2 or 3 candles, or at least in 1 candle, but the format is same. If you see here, you can see a correction, then to the upside. So that's the pattern which I'm talking about here. Say you got an uptake, now there is a bit of correction, now the price is moving to the upside. So if that is to happen without a fake out, say this is a similar case where we actually had the uptick, correction, then move to the upside, but the upside was actually limited at this particular resistance area and it was faked out, or it came to the bottom. So here what we are looking at is we should manage to come here, then we should break above, retest and go up high, or at least even if there is no retest in this area, the price may come here and retest this area and go to the upside. So that's an hourly chart. So you can see that the MACD is bullish, the RSI is bullish. So we'll actually go through BTC chart in USD, then we'll compare both XRP and BTC in charts. So this is a BTC in USD, and you can see that the bullish case which we saw here is actually played out. It just broke to the upside and it's moving to the upside. So as we discussed just now for XRP, you can see that continuation pattern happening here. The price has broke to the upside, now it's having a resistance here. So for that, we'll actually go to the 4-hour chart and check what our indicators are showcasing. Say we'll zoom a bit out within the 4-hour chart and try to analyze what's happening. Say this is the previous resistance zone, previous support zone, which will be acting as current resistance. So now the price is within the support resistance area, the stochastic RSI is at the top, and MACD is pushing to the upside. So that's actually a potential possible positive scenario by which the price can actually move to the upside, because currently if you see that, what you can see is the price actually went above the 20-day moving average, it retested that, then it broke above the 50-day moving average in 12-hour chart. So we'll just go into a daily chart and check that. So yes, it's happening the same in daily chart. We managed to break above the 20-day moving average. Yeah, we consolidated the 2-3 days, then we break to the upside. So that's bullish news. Say I'll state that the continuation pattern and the double bottom showcases that it's gonna go high. Now that's my personal view and I'm buying. So yeah, I'm not only a XRP holder. Yes, majority of my portfolio is XRP, but I do trade BTC, Ether, LTC, Cardano and others as well. So my target for this will be somewhere here, say 8,300, 8,200. But if the price is going to the upside, breaking this and retesting this, yes, I will continue my position. So I won't be taking all the profits here. Say I have 5 positions, I'll only take 2-3 positions here. I'll wait for the next here. Now we'll actually compare XRP in BTC quickly, then we'll go through Ether and LTC as well. Say now that's happening intermediately. I'm sorry about that. Now this is XRP to the BTC, and as you can see that the price is still below the moving average as the Bitcoin price is moving to the upside. It's retesting the bottom. So that's on a daily. If we move into a 4-hour chart, what I can state is that if you look at this, the price went above the 20-day moving average, but it couldn't manage to stay above there. It came back. So if it is to bounce from here, then that's a potential higher low. That will be a good news. Now we'll look at Ethereum in USD, after which we'll go through LTC. Say this is Ethereum chart on a 4-hour, and we still can see that it's following the pattern which BTC was actually following for last 5-6 months. Say the price is still above this. Now this for me is a potential bullish pattern, and this should be breaking to the upside mostly. So if you guys check this falling wedge, you'll see that around 64-68% is moving to the upside. So if you actually zoom in a bit to check where the MACD is, it's showing similar cases. Now in the 4-hour, if the price is getting above this, that's actually good news. Like the 4-hour candle broke above the 50-day moving 20-day moving average first, then the 50-day, that's a bullish news. It managed to close there. Now what you have to check is, we just discussed about continuation pattern, right? So the same is actually forming in Ether. You went above the 200-day moving average in 1-hour chart, it consolidated or corrected, retested that area. Now it's bouncing up high, so that's giving you a higher high and higher low, so that's a bullish scenario. Now we'll actually look at LTC in USD terms. Now this is LTC in USD terms, and as we just discussed about Ether, we are getting the same or more or less a better scenario. Here it already retested the 200-day moving average, it bounced up high. The 20-day moving average crossed the 50 and 200 in an hourly chart, so in a shorter time frame that's actually a bullish scenario. And in a 4-hour chart, 20-day moving averages are about to cross the 50-day moving average, so that's kind of a bullish cross coming in multiple charts. So if you look at 12-hour chart, the price managed to go above 20-day moving average, it closed, it confirmed that. Now it's gonna test 50-day moving average. So if you check the daily chart, what you can see is the stochastic RSI is at the top, the MACD is kind of consolidating and moving to the upside with a slope upside. Again, it's a minute slope, but still a valid slope to the upside, whereas the price is coming to the downside. But in a daily, you can see that the 20-day moving average will be acting as a resistance as of now, but this particular pattern is actually a bullish one. If you see, you can call it as a bullish flag or a continuation pattern or a reversal pattern in this particular scenario. So if you are to analyze this, I'll say this is the support line. Now it's going to the top. So as we discussed through the charts and patterns, you should be bullish about this particular asset class. So we have actually covered most of the news and information which are valuable for the day. Now we'll meet you guys on the next video. But before that, I would like to request again, if you guys like the content I provide on a regular basis, please do support the channel, hit the subscribe button and like the content. If you have any suggestions to improve the quality and value of the content, please let me know in the comment section below. I'll meet you guys on my next video. Bye for now.